Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back, KGX to the ZTV. Another video today. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on. But just some quick thoughts. As you can see by the title, Chelsea are shopping in their retirement home, folks. If you would have told me last year, even 6 months ago, that we would sign not one, not two, but potentially three players over the age of 25, with the marquee signing in Morgan Rogers being 117 million and having 2 years of Premier League experience, I would have told you to get the fuck up out of here. I would have asked you seriously, what is wrong with you? But folks, here we are today, July 28th, 2026. And as you can see from up on the screen, Chelsea have been in contacts. Yo, when this news broke yesterday, I was in absolute shock. And we will separate these two because most of us have mixed reactions to both of them. There's one of these players up on the screen I think most Chelsea fans are in agreement with would be a good backup option, a good buy. Whereas the other person up on the screen, you're just like, what the fuck? What is this about? But folks, those two players that we are linked with, Danny Welbeck from Brighton, a renowned Chelsea killer. I looked it up the other day. He's scored more goals against us than any other club in the Premier League. Yo, dating back to when he was at Manchester United, when he was there with Fergie, that's how long he's been around with Fergie. When he went to Arsenal, when he ultimately went to Brighton, and I think there was another stop in between Arsenal and Brighton. I could be wrong. Somebody in the comments let me know. But Welbs, even last year, 13 Premier League goals, I think, non-penalty, scored against us in that that drubbing second half of the season. One of the worst performances I've ever seen from Chelsea Football Club since I've been supporting for long over 20 years now. Welbs came on at the end, scored his goal. And look, we know he's 35. We know he's not going to come and play a lot of minutes. He's going to be the backup striker to João Pedro. Rumors are wages will be fine. 2-year deal, which a lot of times is like a 1-year deal plus an option. So he's agreed to personal terms. He's pretty much agreed to the move. Chelsea's just trying to finalize the bid. I heard it's going to be around 5 million. So chump change for us, right? Where's my money gun? My money gun's over there. We won't bring out the money gun for this one today, folks. It's only 5 million. No, we can just put this one. We just put this one on the debit card. Ching ching. But look, I have no issues with bringing in Danny Welbeck. Experience, bit part player. Is if you're looking at our backup striker options, Liam Delap, we'll get into a little bit today in the match review, preseason match review. 17-year-old Insat Payev, who played today, played well. We'll cover it. Omega, who's not there because his hamstring or he picked up a knock. And then Nicholas Jackson, who's 1 foot out the door to Aston Villa. As soon as our 117 hits their bank account for the Morgan Rogers, at least 55 to 60 is coming back with Nico. So Danny Welbeck, again, he's going to know going into this situation what his minutes are going to be like, what he can expect in terms of game time, right? Carabao Cup action, mop up minutes here and there. Either way, we're going to go into the season with 3 strikers. So it could be João Pedro, Welbs, Omega, João Pedro, Welbeck, Delap, João Pedro, Welbeck, Guy, João Pedro, Welbeck, Shim, whoever that third striker is. But we know Chelsea is obviously bringing him in because we're looking to bring in experience. We're looking to bring in know-how, good presence in the locker room, someone that's been there, done that, won leagues before, has won trophies. So look, even though he's 35 or 36, no issues with Danny Welbeck. The other guy up on the screen, Jordan Henderson, ex-Liverpool captain, came from Sunderland, went to Saudi, didn't do well in Saudi or didn't like it in Saudi, went to Ajax, fell out at Ajax, I guess, went to Brentford last year, bit part player, did enough or has that pedigree that's at a high enough level to where he actually was capped and made the plane to to the United States for the World Cup. We know what happened at the World Cup. I have to laugh because if you watch my content, if you watch some of the panels that I'm on, you would have seen me drag Jordan Henderson on the boardroom. Shout out JM, shout out Shell, shout out my boy KJ. Make sure you guys check out the boardroom every Wednesdays, 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. But I dragged this guy, especially when he got injured jumping over the stanchion or whatever the hell ad board at the World Cup, ended up breaking his shoulder or breaking his arm, did something on the action that he got involved in the whole entire tournament. But he's coming in. Supposedly, there's mixed reports. Supposedly, they said we're definitely going to bring in an additional midfielder, one to replace Santos, potentially another one to replace Enzo if Enzo leaves. Then there were reports today that said we might not be shopping for another midfielder after we get Jordan Henderson. Personally, for me, folks, you can feel whatever way you want to feel. I think it's just more PR, more smokescreen. Jordan Henderson comes in, provide that leadership, won everything at Liverpool while he was wearing the captain's armband. Yes, I know he's a very limited player. Yes, I know he's 35, 36 years old. But folks, if he comes in, he's not going to play a lot. He's not going to get a lot of minutes. He's going to be there providing that leadership, providing that support in the changing room. And we've needed it. We've needed leaders within the team. You can criticize Reece James for certain things, his availability. You could definitely criticize him a little bit for being the type of leader that's not a vocal leader, right? We know Reece James's personality. He's not a very vocal person. Enter Jordan Henderson, stage left. That's what he's there for. If you hear his ex-managers, Jurgen Klopp, Thomas Tuchel, talk about him, you hear players. I've seen an interview with Jude Bellingham and Morgan Rogers where they mentioned Jordan Henderson and how valuable he is as a presence in the locker room, setting the example, right? First in the training, last to leave. And even though he's at the tail end of his career, that's the reasons why Chelsea's bringing him in. Could you say, on the flip side, can you say we could get leaders who are also better players? Yeah. No, I have no problem with that logic. It's going to cost you more, but I hear that logic. But at the same time, he's free. He's going to be free. He's got a gentleman's agreement to leave Brentford. So it looks like every day I wake up and I'm like, are we going to get the here we go in 2026 for Danny Welbeck and Jordan Henderson? So, folks, just letting you know, if you've been living under a rock, you haven't been paying attention to the transfer news, these two fellas look like they're going to be our next two signings, with hopefully some more, because I don't think we're done. We've got a lot of outgoings. We've got a lot of negotiations, right, that we've been sort of talking to, and I'm sure there's probably a lot behind the scenes too. But folks, this isn't necessarily a transfer window video, right? This is just talking about these two guys. We'll talk about transfers, in its totality, not only for Chelsea, but how as it relates to the rest of the league in a separate video, folks. But on to the second part of this video, right? We had a preseason friendly today. Folks, we played one of the most exciting games that you could possibly actually see, right? Why is it not sharing it up on the screen? Let me remove it. 6'4", We're down in Australia, Western something Wanderers. I don't know. Let me see what the name of it was. Yeah, Western Sydney Wanderers. I should know that. You know why? I had a one of my favorite player career modes that I started out in Australia, um, and that was one of the best teams in the league. So I definitely remember it, but couldn't remember for some reason. But folks, it was on hella early here on the East Coast. It was on. It was already 60% over. I think we were in like the 50th minute when I turned it on, and that was like 7 in the morning. Eastern time, jumped on Jimmy's screen for a little bit, watched like the last 15, 20 minutes. Um, Hella entertaining match. I watched it back on the replay not too long ago, because the first half the kids played, right? We'll look up here, as you can see up on the screen. Um, we had a lot of kids in this first half. I'm gonna go down to the bottom so you can see the first half lineups. But Sherman Low in goal or Sherman Low in goal. Sabuye, who was playing at right back, Achapong was playing at center back with Tosin, and Manolo, who's the son of our former sporting director who came from Monaco, left back. Watson Asugo sort of in that double pivot with Reggie Walsh in front of him. Kavara McQueen, right hand side, Sapayev, left hand side, and the people's favorite, I was going to say Rory, Liam Delap up top. And folks, we got off to a good start. There was some, I know, there's a lot of stuff going on Twitter and group chats and all that stuff about the only player that was oppressive was so and so and so and so. Nah, man, there were some good performances out there. Sapayev, very very lively on that left hand side where he's not a left winger, but got his goal early on. Kavara McQueen, lovely through pass, weighted pass. Sapayev, good touches. Takes him a little bit to the right hand side. 1v1 for the keeper. Not the most favorable angle. Keeper thinks he's going to shoot far post, probably low and hard post. He goes high and near post. Great, great, great start. 1-0. And you're like, all right, you can see what it is. First preseason match, Australia. So the flight is crazy from London. The pitch was absolutely terrible. Like balls just bouncing just all over the floor. Players, really having to concentrate and take that extra split second to make sure that their first touch is tidy. But we give up a goal on a corner. As you can see, Penta Zapalos gets in the 14th, scores. Hammond follows up. We give up a goal. Sloppy goal with the second one. The first one was sloppy too. It was off a set piece corner. Achapong at the near post got, I don't know what he was doing on that. He was nowhere near the ball. And then it sort of gets flicked on, and then back post. Somebody just kind of taps it in. Achapong gets spun later. I think it's either by Hammond or Siciliana, Saluna in the 62nd minute. But they score again. Again, a sloppy play, sloppy turnover, sloppy possession. You're going to get that, folks, right? Tosin, and the bad thing was we have two semi-experienced players. Like Achapong's not the most experienced player in terms of like a Palmer's, a Gittins when compared to those folks, but he's been in and around the first team will be his third year. So expecting a little bit more from him in this situation, but it's early. Folks are still finding match fitness. No one got injured. And it's all about just giving these youngsters an opportunity, see what they have, give the manager, first impressions about how are we going to line up, what kind of players that he has at his disposal, what are the strengths and weaknesses once the lights go on. Oh, so it was, it's a little bit of hit and miss in that first half with most of the kids in there. We do get the equalizer from Asugo. Asugo played really well. First time that we've really seen him since last preseason because he was pretty much injured for all of the previous season. Very good with driving at the ball in this game. Much more athletic and much more a better dribbler. And part of that could be down to the competition and the level of competition. I hear it. But did very well driving the ball, gets the ball out wide to Sapayev, back into Asugo. Asugo plays a 1-2 with Reggie Walsh and then slots it home right side. something that you don't really see too much, or even on the highlights of Asugo when he was at Sporting, was him sort of getting in and around the box and playing, getting shots and things like that. So I thought Asugo was very good. He's pretty decent at tackling and off the ball type stuff, positioning, duels. But today, I thought his passing was very, very good. And it was nice to see him get a goal and play a little bit more advanced, especially when he was driving with the ball. So big up Asugo. Halftime comes. We make a few changes, as you can see. Like Kellyman comes on, and then eventually goes off. Isugo goes off for Nickel Jazalai, or we just been calling him Jazzy, who was very good. The kid's 16, so we got to pump the brakes on any hype and things like that. But he looked very calm, did very well in like using his body and just shielding the ball and that kind of stuff. Very, very talented young player that I've seen in the under 18s, did very well. But once the big dogs came in, Palmer's, Gittins came in, was fantastic. Jao Pedro came in, was fantastic. We just immediately just started scoring goals, right? Gittins got one. Jao Pedro got a hat trick in about 9 minutes. And things just look very, very, very easy, right? Like we could have easily had like 4 or 5 more goals. Tosin missed a wide open header. Cole Palmer had a chance to score. Everybody was eating out there except for one person, Liam fucking Delap. This guy, man, he chases his first touch. His link up play is terrible. His touch when he was through on goal took him wide, so he's narrowing his own angle when he's trying to shoot. This guy's just a stinky player, man. Just a very bad footballer. Everybody was eating today except for him. He was the only person that didn't pull up with a plate. So it is what it is. Hopefully he is not at the club come the Fulham game. Hopefully he's either out on loan somewhere or even better, permanently sold. But yeah, that guy, we can't get rid of him fast enough. But all in all, no injuries, no Lavia today, but felt something in his hamstring. Shock. But no injuries. Nice to see some of the big guns get a run out. We play Spurs on the weekend, so we know that's going to be the big test in terms of just ramping up the intensity, ramping up the quality of the competition, resting a lot of the players for that one to see how we kind of go at them, how we line up. We did line up with the back 4 today, so that back 5, we haven't really seen it. Shout out Palestra. Palestra was very good when he came on too. Very good feet, very good going forward. Really liked what I saw from him. But it's early days, folks. It's preseason. We're not going to get too hype. But it is what it is, folks. But one thing, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn those notifications on, and we will see you at the next one. Peace.